Imagine this. You wake up, check your phone, and suddenly an hour has passed. Social media has become a part of our daily routine, and for some, it can feel nearly impossible to break free. But have you ever wondered how social media alters our brain chemistry and why it's so addictive? Let's start by understanding how we got here. Social media has evolved rapidly, becoming a central part of our lives. From the early days of MySpace in the early 2000s to the explosion of Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, platforms have constantly evolved to keep us engaged, and they've gotten really good at it. But the question is, why do we find ourselves so hooked? Social media platforms are designed to hold our attention. They leverage powerful psychological triggers that influence our brain's reward system, which is the key to understanding why it's so addictive. To understand the addiction, we need to talk about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, often referred to as the brain's feel-good chemical. When we receive a like, comment, or even a notification, our brain releases dopamine, creating a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction. It's the same chemical response we get from eating our favorite food or even from addictive substances like drugs or alcohol. Each time you see a notification pop up, or you scroll through your feed and come across a post you enjoy, your brain gets a small hit of dopamine. It's a cycle that feels rewarding, which is why we keep going back for more. The problem? Our brains are wired to seek out more and more of these dopamine hits, leading to compulsive behavior. So why is it so difficult to stop? Research shows that social media activates the same neural circuits involved in addictive behaviors. The more we use social media, the more our brains become conditioned to expect rewards. This conditioning forms a feedback loop, making it harder to resist the urge to check our phones or continue scrolling. Think of it as the slot machine effect, where you're constantly gambling for the next hit of pleasure. Social media companies know this. They've designed their platforms to maximize engagement. Infinite scrolling, autoplay videos, personalized algorithms, they keep us hooked by providing constant rewards, often without us even realizing it. It's like our brain is always on the lookout for the next satisfying notification or video. Another key psychological factor is the fear of missing out, or FOMO. This is where social media can tap into our sense of social belonging. When we see our friends posting about vacations, parties, or exciting experiences, it triggers a feeling of insecurity. We start to compare ourselves to others, and it can leave us feeling isolated or even anxious if we don't stay up to date with the latest trends or events. FOMO leads us to check social media constantly to ensure we're not missing anything important. This fear can drive us to overuse social media, checking in frequently throughout the day, even if we don't consciously want to. While social media can provide entertainment and connection, it can also have negative effects on our mental health. Studies show that excessive use of social media is linked to increased feelings of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The constant comparison to others, cyberbullying, and unrealistic beauty standards can take a toll on self-esteem. In fact, research has found that young people who spend more time on social media are more likely to experience depressive symptoms. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to the curated, highlight reel versions of others. And when those likes and comments don't come in, it can feel like a direct hit to your self-worth. Let's not forget the algorithms. Social media platforms use complex algorithms to show us content we're most likely to engage with. The more we like, comment, or share, the more the platform learns about our preferences and keeps feeding us content we're more likely to interact with. This creates an echo chamber of content, where you're constantly shown things that align with your views and interests. While this can make your experience feel personalized, it also reinforces your current behavior, which can make the cycle of addiction even harder to break. The more time we spend on social media, the more our attention span suffers. Research suggests that constant switching between tasks, like jumping from a text message to a social media post to a work email, trains our brains to be constantly distracted. This is often referred to as cognitive overload. Over time, this reduces our ability to focus on long-term goals, like studying or deep work. Our brains become conditioned to seek constant stimulation, making it harder to stay focused for extended periods. This leads to decreased productivity and difficulty engaging in deep, meaningful tasks. So, if social media is affecting our brains and mental health, what can we do about it? The first step is awareness. Recognizing that social media is designed to be addictive is the first step toward breaking free. Setting boundaries, like limiting screen time or setting specific times for checking social media, can help you regain control. Another tip is to practice mindfulness. By focusing on the present moment and engaging in activities that don't involve screens, like reading, exercising, or spending time with loved ones, you can rewire your brain to find fulfillment outside of social media. And remember, it's okay to take breaks. Social media can be a great tool, but it's important to use it in moderation and prioritize real-life connections. Social media is here to stay, but understanding how it affects our brains gives us the power to take control. By recognizing the psychological tricks behind addiction and taking steps to limit our usage, we can find a healthier balance between our digital and real-world lives.